Integrating ICT into project-based learning can certainly help students stay connected and engaged. However, it's a challenging task to present digital tools that can be used specifically for PBL projects. There are hundreds, perhaps thousands of ICT tools that can be used in learning and teaching settings. The answer to the question of which tools to use actually depends on the learning context, project specifications, and, most of the time, the opportunities and preferences of teachers and learners. So, in this session, we will start by mentioning the most popular ICT tools for learning this year. According to a recent survey by toptoolsforlearning.com, these are the top 30 ICT tools for learning, which are used by educators and students in colleges and universities. As you can see, there is clearly a wide variety of tools for different educational groups. But it's no surprise that YouTube, Google Docs, and Zoom are among the most popular tools. For example, they can be used in PBL projects for managing collaboration and monitoring the project process. Let's have a closer look at these tools and examine them in categories. In the first category, web tools and resources can be used in PBL projects for searching real-life data at the beginning of a project. They provide abundant opportunities in terms of accessing knowledge in any format such as texts, audio, or video resources. The second category of educational ICT tools is social and collaboration platforms. Video meeting platforms in particular work great to do an interview with an expert or conduct a project launch. Educators can share their screens with both tools and record sessions, which is great for students who cannot attend a meeting, or to document lessons for students to reference in the future. As another example, Flipgrid fits well for PBL because it provides teachers, peers, and experts with a tool to offer feedback on project benchmarks, deliverables, and drafts. As we know, formative assessment, feedback, reflection, and refinement are best practices of PBL, and that can be difficult to maintain in a virtual setting, but Flipgrid can help in this sense. Also, a project tracker or collaborative calendar keeps students accountable and on track for their work. It makes it easy for teams, and the teacher as well, to know what has been done, what is in the process, and what has just started. It also makes it obvious to see whether teams are fair or unfair on their workload. It's also a great tool in case a student is absent to see what they are working on. All these management tools are actually really important structures that the teacher can put in place to provide some guardrails to ensure that students are learning and effectively managing their time. Then we can employ some content creation tools. Google tools are very popular, as you may guess. Considering the group work to be undertaken in PBL projects, they provide great space for students to conduct writing assignments or for groups to collaboratively document their thinking and project progress synchronously or asynchronously. The teacher can simply give feedback using the comment feature. Another plus is that cloud sharing platforms like Drive or Dropbox allows leveraging folders to organize student work by creating folders for each student to upload work, project groups to organize their work, or unique folders for each benchmark phase of the project. There are also many other content developing tools that help both students and teachers in a PBL project create graphics, diagrams, charts, infographics, podcasts, and so on. They are especially useful when students need to come up with a project report, presentation, or any other product at the end of a PBL project. Learning platforms and tools such as Google Classroom, Canvas, and Schoology allow teachers to conduct formative and summative assessments during PBL. Using Google Slides and Adobe Spark to share work or showcase final projects also encourages students to give each other constructive feedback or to engage students in weekly reflections. With a simple video recording, students can share their wins and challenges, ask classmates questions, or discuss next steps as they progress through their projects. In fact, most learning management systems incorporate several features that can be used in PBL projects, ranging from question formulation to project management, presentation, and assessment. We could also use other categorizations of information and communication technology tools that can be effectively used for a variety of purposes in relation to project-based learning in higher education. To begin with, When finding and using content as a teacher or as a learner, you would need to see what the relevant content is, and many tools are available for that. They can be used for finding this content and also for using it at an appropriate place. The second use is creating and sharing content. User-generated content is a very important aspect of higher education. Creating content, preparing a PowerPoint presentation, having a photograph, creating a small video, creating an audio file. There are so many things which the learner or the teacher can create themselves. Learners do not have to depend on somebody else, but they can also prefer collaboration or co-creation. So, if 2 or 3 or a group of members are creating some content together, that can also be called co-creation. ICT facilitates creating content and also sharing that content. Learners can prepare a 1-minute video and share it with ICT tools available to them. We all know that we generally use YouTube, but there are many other tools and platforms available for sharing. The third use could be joining and building networks and communities. These communities are also called learning communities. We come together, we share our interests, but also we share our resources which we have created. Exchange of resources generates more value for that learning resource. Therefore, no one has to generate all the resources if people give each other permission to use their resources, which makes life easier for both learners and the teachers. In short, information and communication tools make creating learning networks or creating learning communities possible. The fourth aspect, or the effective use, can be improving productivity. Here, productivity refers to both individual productivity and team productivity. For example, if you take photographs when you visit somewhere and upload them on an image sharing platform, that becomes a resource. It increases your productivity. If you are working in a group and every group member contributes significantly, the group productivity increases. ICT tools are also useful for PBL projects group activities, as they are increasingly user-friendly and give control to the users. There are also some other issues that we should consider when using ICT in project-based learning. One is reflection. In PBL, reflection is not just done at the end of a project. We should reflect on where we started, where we ended, and everything in between. In other words, reflection should be ongoing and done throughout the whole project. Having students use digital learning journal, where they can often reflect on their learning and thinking, is a good idea. If students use a digital platform, they can easily share their work with their teacher or other students using tools like Google Docs or Seesaw. We can also have students create a blog or website and engage in blogging throughout the project. Blogs are a popular way for writers to share their ideas with a wide audience at minimal to no cost. Blogs also allow readers to respond to posted ideas, making it more authentic for students and allowing even more opportunities for reflection. Some possible blogging tools are Blogger or EduBlogs. Reflection becomes more meaningful when it leads to action, and critique and revision are the action portions of reflection process in a PBL project. There are many tools that can support students with critique and revision. Shared documents in Google Workspace or Microsoft 365 allow multiple people to access, edit, and/or comment on the same document and even at the same time. Also, discussion tools can help manage the sharing of ideas and feedback in virtual conversation threads. Most learning management systems like Canvas, Schoology, or Google Classroom offer discussion tools with text, audio, and video response options. Some platforms, like Flipgrid, are specifically designed to be video-based. In addition, digital bulletin boards like Padlet allow students to post text, images, and video, and then provide feedback on what is posted. Throughout the reflection, critique, and revision process in PBL, we can create opportunities to celebrate students who intentionally reflect on their work, provide good feedback, and use feedback to revise their thinking and make changes to their PBL projects. On the other hand, utilizing integration and technology tools in PBL projects requires careful and intentional planning. One tip to consider in such processes: taking the conditions of students in terms of digital capabilities. For example, some students may have limited bandwidth or data packages, or teachers may design projects fit for a laptop or a computer with a larger screen. However, some students without those devices may not experience them in the same way, which could impede student engagement. The technology that is available to students can vary greatly. Therefore, it would be sensible to take that into account as well.